Government interest followed quickly. While Liang was cautious of over-reliance on state partnerships, he understood the opportunity. A pilot project to integrate DeepSeek into public education systems, especially in underserved rural areas, was greenlit. The AI would assist in generating personalized tutoring exercises based on student performance data. The project's success marked DeepSeek's turning point. The company was no longer a promising startup, it was a national asset. And for Liang Wenfeng, the road ahead was about to become both expansive and exponentially more complex. With DeepSeek now recognized as a rising force in AI, Liang Wenfeng faced his most significant challenge yet, scaling a vision born in solitude into a full-fledged enterprise that could rival the world's most powerful tech firms. The interest from the Chinese government opened doors, but also introduced pressures. Agencies wanted access to DeepSeek's architecture for use in everything from intelligent surveillance systems to social credit algorithms. Liang walked a tightrope, honoring national interests while protecting the ethical core of his work. He imposed a strict code within DeepSeek: no deployment of AI for surveillance or manipulation without independent oversight. This stance drew criticism from some officials, but it earned him global respect. In 2019, DeepSeek received its first major infusion of capital, a $60 million Series A round, led by Sequoia China and SoftBank Vision Fund. With funding came expectations, and Liang responded by scaling up his research team and infrastructure. He hired some of the brightest minds from Asia, Europe, and North America, assembling a multilingual, multicultural group of researchers aligned with his vision of ethical, open-access AI. With DeepSeek 3.0, Liang and his team built a model capable of performing multimodal reasoning. This new version could interpret text, audio, and images simultaneously, enabling use cases in medical imaging, automated journalism, and adaptive learning platforms. One breakthrough demonstration involved the AI composing music based on visual art, narrating its rationale in both Chinese and English. The media caught on. Headlines like "The Chinese Mind Behind the World's Most Humane AI" began to appear in global tech journals. But Liang refused interviews. He declined TED Talks. He stayed away from Davos and Silicon Valley galas. He believed the work should speak louder than the brand. In 2020, COVID-19 struck, and DeepSeek rose to international prominence. The company released a pandemic response model that aggregated multilingual health data, provided real-time case modeling, and offered personalized health recommendations in over 20 dialects. Governments in Southeast Asia and Africa used it to inform policy. NGOs relied on it for outreach. For many, DeepSeek became a lifeline in the chaos. Amid this surge in impact, Liang launched the DeepSeek Institute, an educational initiative offering free AI education and training to underserved communities across Asia. It included coding boot camps, model training programs, and scholarships for girls in tech. It wasn't a PR move, it was personal. Liang never forgot his roots. By late 2020, DeepSeek had grown from a side project into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. It had surpassed 1 billion API calls per month, powered products used by hundreds of millions, and stood as a quiet but undeniable counterweight to Western AI monopolies. Still, Liang didn't view any of it as the finish line. Instead, he saw a horizon, filled with questions about consciousness, bias, and the soul of synthetic intelligence. By 2021, DeepSeek had not only proven itself as a technological marvel, but as a philosophical challenge to the AI status quo. Liang Wenfeng, once a lone coder in a rented flat, had become a figure of deep curiosity in global tech circles. Journalists called him the monk of machine learning. Investors whispered about his unwavering control over the company. Academics studied DeepSeek's models to understand how it had leapfrogged so many established labs. Yet with prominence came difficult questions. DeepSeek's multilingual models were increasingly used in sensitive domains: legal document automation, military intelligence analysis, even constitutional drafting in emerging democracies. Though the company refused to sell to authoritarian regimes, grey areas were unavoidable. What if a DeepSeek-powered language model was used to spread disinformation in a country's native dialect? What if it accidentally reinforced cultural biases in judicial systems? Liang, ever the philosopher, convened what he called the DeepSeek Ethics Board, an independent body composed of ethicists, sociologists, AI researchers, and even poets. Their mission was simple but radical: guide DeepSeek's evolution not only by what it could do, but by what it should do. They instituted robust red teaming practices. Every major release went through stress testing by adversarial researchers who attempted to break the models, extract bias, generate harmful outputs, or simulate unethical scenarios. Unlike most AI firms that hid these failures, DeepSeek published them in transparency reports. It stunned the industry. Meanwhile, Liang launched DeepSeek 4.0, its first truly general-purpose AI model. Unlike its predecessors, this system could reason abstractly, shift styles between writing genres, debate philosophical positions, and even simulate historical figures in conversation. It wasn't perfect, but it was eerily human. At an international AI symposium in Geneva, DeepSeek 4.0 debated OpenAI's GPT-5 in a live public demo on the topic of ethics in AI governance. The dialogue went viral. Commentators remarked that DeepSeek's model showed measured wisdom, while its rival sounded opinionated and reactive. Liang wasn't present. He watched the recording later from his study in Chengdu. Yet not all attention was welcome. Western governments grew wary. Was DeepSeek becoming China's soft power tool? Was it secretly advancing state interests under the guise of altruism? Liang responded by relocating half of DeepSeek's R&D to Singapore and Zurich. He insisted on international audits. He invited UN agencies to observe internal processes. Most importantly, he proposed a bold initiative: a universal AI licensing framework based on usage, transparency, and public benefit. Critics expected pushback. Instead, the proposal gained traction. UNESCO began drafting policies inspired by it. Google and Meta, even while competing, publicly praised DeepSeek's ethical leadership. Liang had done the unthinkable, reframed global AI discourse from rivalry to responsibility. As accolades poured in, the Turing Award, the AI for Good Grand Medal, even a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize, Liang remained elusive. He didn't attend ceremonies, he gave no speeches. He kept his team small, and he refused to take DeepSeek public despite offers that could have made him a 100 billionaire overnight.